first to jump on anything. And a good example was, when the whole concept of privacy became a big mainstream discussion in the European Union, GDPR, and all those regulation out there, California naturally adopted their own version and said, okay, hey, you guys are not going to beat us to the game. We are going to come up with our own regulation, privacy for our own citizen. Big deal. So it gives their residents control over all their personal information. You can mess with other states. I'll tell you one thing. You don't want to mess with California as a state. They don't play games most times. They will come after you. Those are things that they consider very, very strict in their side, right? The law was enacted in 2018. The enforcement of the law started in 2020. As you could tell, it's the first major US privacy legislation out there. So CCPA is a big one, the first of its kind in the US. For my Canadian folks, it's the equivalent of a PIPEDA, but California adopted theirs first. Other states in the US have its own equivalent also. Like I stated also, GDPR it kind of mirrors your CCPA mirrors our GDPR, the European version of it. So it's really a mirror of it with a unique twist to California residents. Okay. All right, so that takes us to the first quiz. Let's get started. What year was CCPA enacted? What year was it enacted? Let's see. All right. Let me see if you are just paying attention. Let's see. Now, if you are joining us for the new, the Kahoot pin is 230511. You can just go ahead and we have 4 seconds to go. Excellent. 2018. Thank you. Yep, that's the year. All right, let's take another quick one. Ha ha ha. Which global law is similar to CCPA? We talk about California law, but there's a global law that is very similar to that CCPA. EPA, GDPR, COPPA, FAPRA. Which of the, you could tell I'm a horrible examiner. I put the answer in front of you, straight up. GDPR. Yep, that's it. All right. The next one. What year was CCPA enacted? What year? Repetition, but what year was it enacted? Sneaking a bonus there. If you miss it the first time, at least the second time you should get it right. Excellent. 2018. 2018. Okay, true or false? CCPA gives residents control over their personal data. It gives you control over your personal data. True or false? Excellent. Yeah, that's true. All right. What is the main goal of CCPA? What is the ultimate goal of CCPA? What is the main goal of CCPA? Protect consumer privacy, encourage data sharing, limit data access, increase data sales. Excellent. Wow, love it. All right. Haha. Okay. Awesome job, folks. Now let's talk about who must comply. Normally, you have to have annual gross revenue exceeding $25 million dollars to be in compliance with CCPA. You have to handle 50,000 plus consumer household device annually in terms of the volume of devices and information you handle. Your revenue source derives 50% of annual revenue from selling personal information. So if you meet these criteria, you need to be in compliance with CCPA. So that means, let me ask you, let's just do, you can chat and tell me, all right, tell me, if this makes sense or not. I'm Amazon, I process, a lot of e-commerce information. I don't need to, I'm a Fortune 500. Should I be in compliance or not? Text and tell me. What do you guys think? Yes or no? Absolutely. Okay, I'm a startup, bootstrapping, and I have just a few 5,000 folks I'm trying to get their information for an e-commerce site. Do I need to be in compliance or not? All right, that's fair enough. I mean, that's really the gist of it. So we could tell already if you're handling a lot of volume of information and data within um, the state of California, then you need to be in compliance. It's a big deal for them, and they will come after you like orc. They don't play games there at all. All right, let's quickly sneak it in. Who must comply with CCPA? Who must comply with CCPA? Non-profits, small startup, government agency, companies with $25 million revenue. Who must comply? Excellent, excellent. And you can see our leaderboard. Bayside is leading us right now. Adi is right on his tail or a tail. Then we have GOM right there. So, okay, cool. Let's keep trucking there. All right, you're right. Companies with $25 million revenue. All right, let's do a slider. Let's see. What is the revenue threshold for CCPA compliance? Let's see if you remember that number. It's millions, but let's see if you remember that number. Excellent. All right, let's see. Oh, quite a range. Bingo, 25 million. All right. So if you add 25 million, you're right. About 26 of you. Okay, awesome. All right, true or false? CCP applies to all businesses. Every kind of business, it applies to it. True or false? True or false? False, yeah. Okay, let's see. Some key terms to kind of think about. Who is considered a consumer? Any California resident. This includes employees and their households, right? So you're considered a consumer. If you live in California, it's a big deal for them. What is personal information? Any kind of data identifying or linkable to a person. If a data can be linked to you, then that is a PII. So let me ask you, think about it. What do you consider email? Go ahead and type. Is that a PII or not? Yes or no? Email. Awesome. What about my social security? Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Of course. Absolutely, sir. That is so true. Okay. What about a number? Let's see. If I have employee ID, employee ID, think about it, and that's why most organizations would use a random number that you cannot really use to tie their employee. They will just generate a random unique ID. Um, Technically, with further digging, I can use that employee ID to still tie to you if I have a database of, because it's unique to you, yes. It's not something easy to identify, but sometimes people can reverse engineer it and figure a way to know who really has that number. Some people would be, their employee ID starts with, I'll know you're a contractor, and I can start narrowing down to get to you, at some point at the end of the day. But there are some other things out there that maybe might just not be applicable to us. Um, like, let's throw some random ones out there. If we have a, give me an example of what you think might not really matter to us from a PII point of view. Go ahead and type. Tell me some things that you feel might not be applicable from a, somebody said pet name. Now be careful with pet name because remember your oh, okay, I see what you mean. Like your, like aliases. Okay. I thought you meant my actual pet. But I want to remind you that, our pets in the US, they have your last name, right? So your pet will have your last name. So really, your pet has PII. They can use your pet to identify you. So give me some other examples that you can think of that would not really be PII specific. Go ahead and type. Yeah, let's see some examples out there. Let me see some example. Car color, city, employee that is sure a PID. I agree. Yeah. Okay. So sometimes you might have things like, sometimes your device type might not really, especially if it's the organization device, it's your company device type. So they might tag you as laptop. It has a unique number, but it's not really necessarily a PII, right? So you can use that as an example. Sometimes you might have some statistics that are aggregated that does not really tie to anybody. That can be a non-PII information too, you know. Okay, let's talk about this. Personal identification information, we can agree anything that can link you to a person, that's going to be a PII. Now, a big challenge is sale of PI, sharing data for monetary or other value. And that happens a lot to all of us. Many times we don't even know it because we fill all these crazy weird forms and they would have told us to sign off our rights. And most times, honest truth is that none of us read all that stuff. So at the end of the day, it just becomes really, really a big challenge because now we've signed off our rights for you to share my data. And I'm kind of stuck with it because I consented. Another one is service provider. Mostly this will be a third party processing your PI under contract. Sometimes the third party might technically be even a fourth party, meaning a contractor of your direct vendor. So there are layers of people that are still handling your PI. That's why many times we get all these weird, crazy calls and they still keep calling you because technically when we signed that fine print, we didn't see all the details, but we consented for them to sell our data to a third party. And the good thing in California, you can always go back and call them, hey, don't share my data again. And that's it, that ends it. Okay, hopefully that helps. Okay, let's talk about this real quick. Let's think about it. What does sale of PI means? Personal information. What does it mean? What does sale of your personal information mean? So if somebody say, well, we're selling your, you've consented for sale of personal information, what does that mean? And welcome. If you're just joining us, thank you. If you're just joining us, please, you can log on to the Kahoot. And this is the instruction there real quick. You can scan this page and you can just join this Kahoot real quick. All right, what does, okay, I think we talked about this. What does the sale of PI mean? Let's see, what does sale of PI mean? Welcome on board. If you're just joining, just scan this code and join the interaction real quick. All right, very well done. All right, let's see the leader on the board right now. Ooh, Yak. Yak just took over. We have Gio Gum, then Noel. All right, love it. You guys are just changing. Adi was on top, Bayside was on top. Okay, let's see. Hopefully we keep it that way. Okay, let's see more. Why should you care? At the end of the day, every violation for CCPA, you're fined 7,500. Now let's put it in perspective. If 10,000 data is compromised, you, that is not fun. Now we're talking of millions, right? So there's 100% legal risk. And, some states that are following the similar law would be like Virginia, Colorado, and every other state is considering some measure of privacy. I know Maryland for sure, Texas too. So every state has some measures of privacy laws around their state also. So it's a big deal. Okay. All right. Let's quickly brainstorm a little bit on this. What is the maximum fine per intentional violation? So you intentionally violate the law. What's the number out there? If you guys remember, we just talked about it right now. Per violation. All right. Somebody said $3,000, $5,000, 6,000, 7,500. Okay. All right. That's been the range. I think somebody's just guessing that. Well, whatever. I think it should be 2,000, but it's 7,500. That's the number out there. Okay. Cool. Let's go. Another one, real quick. What is the maximum fine for intentional violation? What is the maximum fine? I think it's repeating. What is the maximum fine? Zero 7,500. All right. It's a repetition. Okay, let's talk about this. The timeline in general. The law was signed in 2018. It went into effect in 2020. Typically, they give some time so you can comply. Typically, that was what happened in GDPR also. They give you some time to comply. The enforcement began in July. At that point now, you have to, make sure you enforce, you are, following the enforcement. Then the state of California passed in 2020. Take note of that, November 2020, Prop 24. This was passed in 2020. And CPRA was the body that provided oversight. CPRA fully enforceable. So all their new updates in 2023, they are making sure it's something you have to implement. And that's the body that provide oversight to all the anyone that violates the CCPA guideline in general. All right. Which state passed Prop 24? Which state passed Prop 24? All right. If you don't get this one, I'm going to take it personal that, man, really, seriously. The answer is staring at your face. What state? Which of the states passed Prop 24? Thank you, everybody. Huh. Somebody just wants to piss me off and said, okay, I'll give you Texas. Thank you. All right. Let's talk about CCPA versus CPRA. So the original one, in terms of the regulation itself, big one out there is the right to know. You have a right to know, a right to delete, a right to opt out at any point in time. You know, you have a sale of data covered, you have general PI rights, you have no standalone agency. Then there's optional risk assessment. That was the original regulation out there. 2023, I believe there was some enhancement which they included right to correct data, meaning you can, I can request for you to make correction to my data anytime. I could also have share for behavioral ads. I could introduce, in this case, also sensitive PI category. There were introduction of sensitive PI category. There was privacy protection agency. Now you're required to conduct risk assessment also. So those were the enhancement and slight changes that was made. Now, for CCPA for sure, the right to know, right to delete, right to opt out is still going to be there. The additional piece is the right to correct data. So it means I have a right to ask you to make correction to my data at any point. No question asked at any point in time. Okay, let's talk about this. Which right was added by CPRA? There was a new right that was added. Which right was that? Right to share data, right to correct data, right to ignore data, right to sell data. There was a new one that was added. A new addition was added. Excellent. Right to correct. Yes. Thank you also. Okay, this times two. Let's see. Who's our leader right now? Okay, Yak is still not playing games. Okay, Noel is tagging along, and we have GOM. All right, let's go. Okay, what does CPRA add to CCPA? What does CPRA add to CPA? Love it. Privacy Protection Agency. All right, awesome. Okay, let's go again. Who is responsible for enforcing CCPA? Of course, when you have a regulation, somebody should be in charge of enforcement. Who is that person in this case? Your local police, California Attorney General, federal government, Consumer Protection Agency. Excellent. And I know this could be a little bit tricky. If you selected Consumer Protection Agency, that might be fair to say, but at the end of the day, think about enforcement of any regulation would be your state attorney general, generally speaking. Okay, which right was added by CPRA? Which of the right was added? Again, it's repetition, but which right was added by CPRA? Yak is not playing, man. Yak is just whooping us all. Excellent. All right, all right. Okay. Sorry, Yak. We are going to be rooting for that underdog to catch you now. We're happy that you're leading, but what does CPRA stand for? What does CPRA stand for? California Privacy Right Act, California Personal Right Act, Consumer Privacy Right Act, Consumer Protection Right Act. And I see you. I know you're Googling away, chat GPing away. That works too. California Privacy Right Act. It's a privacy class, so think about it. So naturally, that would take the win. What is the key feature of the CPRA? What is one of the key features of the CPRA? The CPRA came in and there were some new amendment, addition. One of them was one key element. Excellent. Mandatory risk assessment. That was a big one. All right. So let's talk about consumer rights. Your right to know what data, meaning what kind of piece of information are you collecting from me? Where from? Where is the source of collection of my personal information? Then ultimately, why? Why are you collecting my information? What's the purpose for collecting or selling information? You need to disclose that information for me also before I consent. Then ultimately, who with? Who are you with in terms of the categories of third parties that are going to be collecting my information, inclusive of the fourth party? If you have subcontractors handling my data, I should ultimately also know. So these are some of the key things we need to know as you collect my data as per CCPA also. All right, let's talk about that real quick. Which is the consumer right under CCPA? Which of this is a right? Right to know, right to share, right to ignore, right to sell. Which of these is a consumer right for me? Excellent. Right to know. Yeah, I need to know. Absolutely. Okay. What is the key consumer right under CCPA? What is one of the key consumer rights under CCPA? That's a bonus for you. Excellent. Okay. All right, another big one, part of you have a right to request a deletion. So yes, I asked you to collect my data, I consented. Okay, I changed my mind. So you have a right to request for a deletion, and it extends to service providers. It's not just to my specific vendors. Whoever your service provider is also, I need you to delete all my record there. Now, of course, there are natural exceptions, like security information, legal obligation, transaction completions, things like that, because those are audit trail. They are needed for compliance as per the regulation. You can ask me to delete all the trails of my transaction with your bank because I need to keep that record of the audit log, right? You can ask me to delete any evidence of a transaction I made, right? So those are things that you can't just request I delete. Those are the exception to the norm. But beside that, I can ask you to delete everything that has to do with me without any thoughts, really. Okay, let's talk about that. True or false? CCPA allow consumer to delete personal information. Is that true? True or false? All right, Yak. Bayside is right behind you. Bayside is Bayside is not playing games. Ronaldo is really close. All right, cool. Another thing that we've noticed is I can opt out anytime. You know, um, every business must collect a opt out option. You have to provide that. You have to give me the option to opt out of your service. That's why when a lot of you get emails, right, from different organizations, there's going to be a button, mostly to be down, that you have an option to opt out. It's not mandatory. You don't have to, you know, all the time show um, to remain on that chain. You can opt out anytime, and it's a law, really. You can also request stop sharing. You know, you don't share anything about me. You can request for that immediately. Then, of course, age restriction. You know, if it's under 16, it requires opt-in. You can't just send that information to someone that is a minor, right? So it gets really more complex at that point in time. So let's talk about that real quick. All right, what does opt-out mean for consumers? What does that mean? I'm a consumer. What does opt-out mean for me? Excellent. Stop data sale. Yep. Okay. All right. All right. All right. Let's take another one real quick. What is the purpose of do not sell link? What is the purpose of the do not sell link? Awesome. Yep. To opt out of data sales. Awesome. All right. Let's talk about consumer right, non-discrimination. You know, so in California, likewise most states, your business cannot just deny services. You can't just charge different random prices. You can offer lower quality. You can penalize for exercising your rights. You know, it's illegal. Um, Financial incentives allowed if it's clearly disclosed, right? It has to be transparent. The consumer can opt in and opt out anytime. It has to be directly related to data value. There must be value. That is, the correlation is there. And it's going to be voluntary participation. There's no coercion in the process at all. So those are some part of it in terms of the non-discrimination part of it. So it's a big one out there. Some additional right to correct any inaccurate personal information. So CPRA allows us to make correction to anything inaccurate. Then you can limit use of sensitive PI, you know, you can restrict use of your sensitive data to essential functions only. All of those provisions are there. As a matter of fact, if you look at most of our devices now, under their privacy settings, they've allowed those settings as part of the compliance requirement now. You can go in and make those settings really if you want to, even right now. So exercising consumer rights, you can submit requests. So every one of these folks should have a website form, email or phone numbers where you can submit that request. You can also do business verification. You can, the expectation is that the business should respond within 45 days, extendable to 90 days, but 45 days is the standard in terms of the response time required in general. Okay, let's talk about that. How long does the business have to respond to DSAR? How long in general? No way. You guys are you're doing yak jet dirty. Adi is back on top. This side is coming. GOM right beside. All right, 45 days. That's great. Okay, business requirement notice again. Ultimately, every organization you notice there would be a need to have a privacy policy. This is just a comprehensive disclosure of your data practice. Then notice that collection, at the point of data collection, you should inform, you know, the consumers on their privacy requirements. Then there should be an annual update. Every year you should have annual review of your policies around privacy at the minimum. Every year you have to do it annually. Another one is opt-out option. You know, you can opt out anytime. You have to honor global privacy control browser settings. And these are all settings available right now. Most people make sure they try to keep in tune with those regulations right now. Ad control also. It might be clumsy and takes time, but all of us right now, you can opt out of different cross-context behavioral advertising. That's why when you talk to a friend on the phone, some of us, you may not know it, you've activated. Talk to a friend about a bag. You'll be surprised when you check your phone on TikTok, on WhatsApp, on Instagram, Facebook, you start seeing those ads coming up. Now, wait a minute, this is so weird and creepy, right? I spoke about this with a friend. Now it's here because sometimes if I enable your voice over and your conversation has been heard by AI or some of these tools, and they are doing analytics to determine you. So now your information is being shared because you talked about it. Sometimes you're chatting with a friend about it, and because we've consented, it's a fair game to start mining you with materials based on your conversation. Crazy, creepy, but that's the reality right now. So that's why you get those ads. So it's not like there are some voodoo folks. It's just because they you consented and they could listen to your conversation too. Business requirement, DSAR. So this is important because we're talking about the process of intaking your consumer request, record request and response in terms of the documentation. How do we verify? How do we process the requirements? Then all of this must be done within 45 days in general. So which is the norm. Occasionally, it might be extended to 90 days. Some key principles, very important, we note this, data minimization. Can we all type that real quick? This is a common thing you might hear, data minimization. Can we type that real quick? Go ahead and type. Just say data, you know, data minimization. Oh, somebody said, let's see that comment. I spoke with a friend about it, geolocation app, and 3 months after an auction launched the app, I was stunned. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. But the beautiful thing is, folks, if you have anything, idea, it's not a big deal. The key is not the idea. I challenge you, it's execution. Just do it. It doesn't matter if anyone has started it. It's not a big deal. Just execute and put your twist to it. So don't quit on that dream. Go for it. We're also building a geolocation application right now. It's going to be amazing. I hope you all would be part of our pioneers that will download it and be part of it. It allows geolocation also, but it start giving you historic context of every location. So imagine you're driving and it's telling you history of every place you're driving through. Really game changer, really. All right, so data minimization is big because it's saying collect data needed for just the stated purpose. That's it. Purpose limitation, don't use my data for any other purpose outside of what I consented to. And if you have to, you need to make sure you give me a notice. You know, also storage limitation. I'm saying you can only store my data for X amount of time. If it's going to overlap more than the time, then I need to know for sure. Okay, let's quickly check this real quick. What is data minimization? Let's see. What is data minimization? Excellent. All right, all right. Okay, vendor contract. You remember again, at the end of the day, most people would outsource some of this to third party. They would have contractors similar to service provider with added obligation to do stuff. They, process the PI technically on behalf of you. Um, the third party independently receive those information and they send it to you to opt out. So if there's a need for you to opt out, the service provider you have a relationship with would have to send it to those third party that you need to opt out. So whatever their workflow is, whatever they've designed their workflow is, it's not your own responsibility. It's on them to go figure that out. Yours is that I want to opt out. Most people would have designed a workflow whereby it goes to their third party provider and it flows and they get that notification and you are opted out most times. So I would not be surprised if that's still the same thing. Security, all of us can agree it's a no-brainer. If you're taking our PII, then there should be some reasonable security around what you're doing. You should protect us against any authorized, unauthorized access, and we should maintain record of security measures or security controls that you all are putting in place in your organization for sure. Okay. All right, let's quickly touch which is a business requirement under CCPA. Once we're done with this part of it, we'll take a 5 minutes break, then we'll come back to the main piece of the whole thing. This is the juice of everything we are doing here. We're going to get into the labs. This is very interactive. Make sure you're part of it. This is everything we've done is child's play. The lab is where you go in, do an assessment, come up with a report. Really amazing. You guys will be surprised what you come up with tonight. What is the key component of data security? If I'm thinking of security, what is a key component of data security? You can think about it yourself and say, okay, if I have my data, I'm thinking of security, what should I think about? Do you want people to have access to it? How do I secure my data on WhatsApp or any application out there? Thank you. Encryption is a big one. Yes. Some general best practice in terms of our data inventory, it means what kind of data am I storing? Categorize it. Where is it coming from? What is the source and method of storing it? Who is handling my data? It's a no-brainer. Then how long are you going to keep my data at the end of the day? So I think those are fair questions to ask in terms of best practice. These are things I want to make sure you can, you know, um, provide an answer to for me. Then in general, for the process of intake in general, I want to find out how do we get information in general? Are we using the website, email, phone, whatever option you're doing? How do you do verification? How do you track and monitor progress when I request you remove, I opt out of a service? Then do you timely respond to my request? Ultimately, 45 days occasionally might bleed into 90 days, but 45 days at the minimum. Most people I've seen tend to respond very fast to those requests because they've automated it now in a way that they don't have to manually do it to prevent potential fines. So that's a big one out there. Okay, let's think about this real quick. What is a DSAR? What is a DSAR? Can take a rough guess and say, well, we're trying to request, yeah, data subject access request. This is just where the customer is requesting information about their data to opt in, to opt out. That's really what it is. Some best practice in general, we can agree we have to train our staff. And how do they route information that people are requesting to make changes? What about ad tracking, opting out, cookies? This is the marketing pass is crazy and dangerous for all of us. I'll tell you, all of us download all this app, and you're worried about, oh my God, why? I talk with a friend, my family, my spouse, my friend, and suddenly I get all these tons of information about our conversation because the cookies is capturing everything we're doing. There's ad tracking on our devices. It is creepy. It is crazy actually now. You know, um, to a point, I don't know if you use TikTok, you'll notice that if you like certain pages, you just start seeing some amazing laser focus on what you've ever liked because the way it's data mining is really out of this world right now. So it's almost 90% creepy to a point that you feel like somebody is squeezing your soul out because they know so much, so close to what you're thinking of, and it shapes your buying decision. You might put it in your shopping cart, but that's a win for them because it means you come back at some point, might be a month, might be 2 months, but sometimes you come back in 3 months and buy that stuff. But that's the whole idea. It's so powerful. Then security element of it, anytime we hear the security side from a data, we have to think of data protection. Encryption is always going to be a big one. Access control is going to be a big one in general. The monitoring, the logs, the activities of the data in general is typically a big one out there also. All right, let's quickly talk about it. Which is the best practice for employee training? What is the best practice for employee training? Ignoring privacy law, avoid encryption, sell consumer data, recognize DSARs. All right, we're almost done with this part. Then we'll go to part two. Let's see who is our leader right now. Who? Adi is back on top. Adi, GOM, and Yak. All right. Man, Yak is not playing games. Yak is struggling to get back that. Man, I'm going to kick them back. I'm rooting for you now, Yak. Okay. In general, the security element is also a big one, right? So if you don't mind, everybody, I would like you to just quickly sneak this in. When we talk of the security side of any of these privacy laws, access control is always going to be big on in terms of data, right? How do you access our data? Role-based, least privilege. MFA, multi-factor authentication is a no-brainer. Encryption is a no-brainer. Logging and monitoring. Can we all type this real quick? Can we just type in access control, MFA, data encryption, logging and monitoring? Can we type that real quick? Everybody, if you don't mind, let's do that real quick. Access control. I'm also typing it. Access control, MFA, encryption, and logging and monitoring. All right, let's just sneak that in because it's really important to kind of mentally just know those are the key security elements within CCPA. Those are the things we are thinking about. Okay, all this data we're talking about, the privacy, the protection, opting in, all the good stuff. The security angle is taking it from access control, MFA, encryption, logging and monitoring. Those will be like your big item in general. Okay. All right, we're almost done with the. All right, some frameworks that are cool out there. Some of those are part of our program already. So you already know, NIST is a big one, ISO is a big one, CIS controls are a big one also. But these are just good reference point to make sure you're adopting the right security controls for most of these regulation out there. And just in case some of you already know, for our GRC class, we have the August night coming up too. For some of us doing CompTIA, we have one kicking off tomorrow, and it's a prep class to just give you a certification out there CompTIA Security Plus is one of those general certification that gives you a leg in general. So a lot of our folks are jumping in that too. So that's cool. Okay, let's see some use case. I'll skip some of this. You can tell already this is just a company that has 60 million revenue, so we know they have to be in compliance. 150,000 plus consumers. Look at their data type, their names, their email, purchase history, behavioral out there. They have third parties on their hard platform. And this is virtually every e-commerce out there. They use this, they have to be in compliance. There's no option. All right. In general, we can see some other cool things out there. So this is really their compliance action. In this case, they are saying data mapping. All that is saying is that how is our data flowing? Consumer put their information in, it's stored in our database. Who else has access to the database? What about our privacy notice? Do we update it? At the minimum, let me ask you, how often should we update the privacy notification? How often? We mentioned earlier on. How often? Let me see if you pay at. Lovely. Thank you, Chris. Also annually. Thank you, Tel. Thank you, Grasa. Andy, thank you. Okay, annually, of course. Then DSAR system, the web form, an automated process, vendor review. Make sure we review our vendors and the contract they have, the service providers. Those are big deal out there also. Some general tools out there, intake form, policy template, inventory documentation. I'll skip this. This is just some basic compliance formulas out there. And I'll send some of this. If you have registered, everything here is also going to be on the website. All the information, we have a very solid book we built for this program. Go and read it. It's a solid CCPA book, so make sure you take advantage of it too. Which is not a CCPA compliance step? Which of this is not one of the steps? All right, Adi is back. Let's see if Adi can keep the momentum. Excellent. Ignore request. Ha ha ha. Lovely. Okay, this is double the point. What is the best practice for data handling? You guys can pull a surprise now. It's anybody's game now. What is the best practice for data handling? Document data process, share data freely, collect all data, ignore data requests. Excellent. Non-compliance risk, again, violation is expensive, high legal cost, reputational damage, so nobody wants that. And I think this should be the final quiz. Which is a risk of non-compliance? Which is a risk of non-compliance? Which is the risk of non-compliance? All right, I think we have one more. This is double again. What is the consequence of non-compliance? What is the consequence? Increased revenue, better data access, trust loss, more consumers, more customers. Excellent. Let's see. Beyond CCPA, the privacy future is bright. A lot of states are adopting regulation out now, like Colorado, Virginia, Connecticut, Utah. A lot of states. You Google your state, I bet they are coming up with something or they have something already. There's federal legislation that is going ongoing right now. So American Data Privacy Protection Act is on the horizon. I don't think it's fully out yet, but there's been conversation around it also. Then there's the global alignment also. In general, we have the GDPR, we have the LGPD in Brazil, then California, of course, we have PIPEDA. So it's a big deal out there. So excellent, and that's really it. And let's see the winner for the all right, third place, Bayside. Second place, GOM. And the winner and disputed champion in this competition today. Let's give some love to Adi in the house. Awesome job, folks. Then runner up Kenty and T. Awesome job. Excellent job, folks. You did awesome. All right, our winners, we typically give some prize out. So our winners, we're going to share with you the top prize. If you don't mind, our winners, you have to send it right now. If you don't send it now, you'll probably not get your spot. If you don't mind, can you just send an email to info@skillway.com right now? Just acknowledge and tell us, okay, you are the winner for this. So we have the four of you. Just kindly send us an email right now so that we can just acknowledge and make sure you get your gift card and send us the email you want us to send the gift card to. It's going to be an Amazon gift card, but send it to us right now so that we can confirm. So Adi is in the first place. Then we have uh, GOM and Bayside. All right. Thank you, everybody. Somebody said I didn't win. Thank you. Oh, sorry, bro. He said I didn't win, but can I still get my prize? Man, we'll give you love from here. We'll blow some love to you. Well, thank you, everybody. That was awesome. Okay, so let's get to the meat of it. I mean, look, man. The first part is exciting, really cool, but this part of it is important also because this is where the hands-on is really. So it's important, please, when we put you in a group, make sure you join the WhatsApp group right now. Let me send the WhatsApp group because that's where I'm going to send the actual material. I'm not going to send it to every group out there. It's just for people that are participating right now. Let me see. Gemini, are you still on? Can you please send me the WhatsApp group right now so that people can join? Because that's where we're going to send the materials to you. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, you'll probably not get the material. So please make sure you join the WhatsApp group. Let me show you real quick. This is what the page will look like. Let's say preview. So most of you that have registered, you will see this is let me share my screen real quick. All right. So you all would have access to this, right? This is if you've not just go and register, no big deal. You would have access to everything. Actually, everything is there already, but if you don't register, you will not have access to it. Even the quiz is there, everything is there. This is a very important document. If you don't mind, just go and it's actually on our website too, skillway.com/resources, but it's a very comprehensive book. If you want to learn more, and we took the time to kind of break it down to make it easy for you. So everything is there. Yes, we kind of covered most of the things in tonight's class, but this would kind of give you some historic context. So make sure you register and just go to the website real quick. You can also, let me send you guys real quick, skillway.com/resources. Just bookmark it. Tons of resources there for you all. Okay. All right. So let's jump into the next part of it. I'm going to share with us real quick something that would guide you tonight. Okay. Because we're going to do assessment. All right. It's going to be fun assessment. So don't stress it at all. The assessment is just really going to give us the opportunity to kind of, in real time, put yourself in the mindset of organization and say, well, they bring you in to do an assessment and you're going to score their maturity. Now, let me put it in simple terms. Some of you that are new to our community, when I say maturity, when you go to a doctor's office, they will ask you, you say, hey, I have a headache. They will ask you your pain level 1 to 5. You tell them 5. 5 naturally means, okay, this is weird, crazy, right? If it's 1, okay, cool. If it's 2, it's the same concept, right? When you use a framework or a benchmark to do maturity, what you're doing is to say, let's use this as a guide to tell us where we stand in terms of our current state and ways we can improve. So if you stand in 1, then it's fair to say you probably don't have structure in place. If you have in 2, you're probably a little bit better. If you're in 3, you're baseline, you're doing the normal thing. If you're in 4, it means you're doing the normal thing and you're also doing extra work, QC. If you're in 5, you're probably overkill. You're doing QC and you're very proactively, effectively monitoring all the activities around your business process in general. That's all it means, really. So I'll show, because I don't want to assume everybody knows what this is. So I'll just quickly share with us real quick for like 5 minutes. Then we now get into the lab itself. We do the lab together for like a few minutes. Then everybody will go into their breakout session, work together, and come up with a report too at the end of the day. But let me show you guys real quick what it's. Let me quickly, let me stop sharing this. But let me quickly show you guys what this is about. All right. Okay, so what is CMMI? And again, don't overthink this, all right? I just streamlined it to CCPA. It's a maturity model. All it's saying is that it's one of those global model out there that people use to benchmark where people are in terms of their maturity. That's all. So don't stress it at all, okay? And it was started and founded, in the US by one of the big firms out there, Carnegie Mellon University, and it's a software process to kind of help them to say, okay, let's see our maturity in time over time. Then it became something that became widely adopted. So because of that, it just blew open, and it's something all over the world that people use now in general. So the timeline, you will notice from 87, 2002, 6, currently it was bought, the most recent version by ISACA. ISACA is one of those big bodies that offers professional certifications and training all over the world. It's a popular one. So if you have CISA, CISA, the certification, ISACA is the body that put it together. I used to be in one of their board in our local chapter in Texas then. But it's a big organization. They are really big now. They have conference all over the world. So most people, if you have CISA, C-Risk, CISM, all those C stuff, they are, they do those certification a lot. But it's a good body. All right, let's talk about the maturity level. These are the five maturity they have. One is saying it's unpredictable, it's horrible, it's poorly done. That's all. Two is saying, okay, you're doing something, it's measured, it's controlled. Three is saying, all right, baseline, standardized, we're good. Four is saying, you're not just good, we can measure you, how good you are. Five is saying, all right, we're not just measuring how good you are, it's also iteration, meaning you're so good, you keep evolving, you keep iterating and getting better with the process. To get you to five, most times, most of us are conservative. If you're in the audit or compliance side, you want to make sure, because nothing is more painful if you score somebody well, but outsiders score them bad, then it makes you look bad. So you don't want to do that too. So you are more conservative, right? When we do the assessment, we plan, we collect evidences, we analyze, we report. Today, we've done the planning, evidence have been collected, and the questionnaires given to them. This is their response. The analysis is what you're doing tonight. You're going to see where you think they score. Then you do your report. The reporting will be awesome today. You'll be surprised how quick we'll do it. Then, of course, we know what the key things around CCPA is: right to know, right to delete, right to opt out. Then the transparency around it. We know those are key for us within CCPA. And this is just a sample report in general. The need for it is because it's a structured framework, gives us confidence, strategically align your business, and we can measure progress in general. But that's really the gist of it. So look at an example of two managed. They have privacy policy in place, they have their method in place, they have baseline activities in place. This is just an example of what a two looks like. So this is just giving you what a three looks like. It's standardized, there's clear ownership, the workflow is easy to track. Four gets into there is quality assurance involved, there is tracking involved. We can measure the data classification. Everything looks, you know, well defined in general. So it's just an example. So anyway, I think we get the gist of it. So let me jump into the meat of it in general, the actual assessment. Now, let me show you guys what I'm gonna share with that group. If you're not in that group, you will not have access to this document. So make sure, or you need to register on the website. And where I showed you earlier on, this document is also there. But if you are not registered, you not have access to it. So let me quickly jump on this. Then we can quickly, we're going to work in a team, okay? And just have fun. Once I put you in the team, don't wait for anybody. Just start talking and start assessing. Because once you're done with the assessment, you have to come up with your report, okay? All right, so let's go through this real quick. If you guys notice here, you're going to look at the questions and the responses. Then you're going to score. The first part is data inventory. I'm asking what personal data is collected, processed, and stored, and how is it categorized and documented? This is the question I'm asked, right? Look at the response. They said the organization identifies and documents personal data collected, processed, and stored. Data is categorized based on sensitivity and documented appropriately. Based on that, what do you think we should score them? Ignore what I wrote here. Feel free to type. What do you think we should score them? Somebody said 4. Let's see what you guys think. What do you think we should score them? Somebody said 4. Okay. Somebody said 3. One thing is for sure, they are doing something right. I can see they said, they have identified personal data, collected it, they've classified, and, it's categorized based on sensitivity, and they are documenting it appropriately. The only thing I'm not very comfortable with personally is, yes, it's documented appropriately, but is there a way to measure what appropriately means? Is there a metrics to kind of get me there? So I would rather go 3. Then over time, they can make me comfortable to push them to 4, right? They can give me additional evidence to get me there. But I'll probably go with 3 here. Okay, let's go to the second one. And again, it doesn't mean I'm right. It means based on what I know right now, I'm just being conservative. So you might have better reason to justify your 4. Because the main thing is you're going to think like a legal mind and say, if somebody challenged this thought process, can I, in good faith, defend it and feel comfortable with my response? If the answer is yes, go for it. But if there's a little guesswork, I'd rather have you go down a little bit and force them to push you up just to kind of give you that cushion. That's the way I kind of think about it. Or let's say another one. How is personal data mapped and traced through systems and processes? And are data flows accurately documented? So they're asking, is it done? Well, they say personal data flows are mapped and traced through systems and processes with accurate documentation maintained. That sounds pretty good. They're doing some fantastic work there. So I'll just keep it baseline. Okay, good. So I'll keep it to 3 in this case. Now, I would like you all to start with the consent management, and I'm going to send this to us in the group and just score the remaining. Then once you score the remaining, I'll send you all a prompt. Let me show you what the prompt will look like, okay? And when you guys get to your own respective classes or areas, I want you to use this prompt. So let me use the prompt in our community, we use either ChatGPT or we use Cloud. Cloud AI is really amazing for reporting in our space. If you've never used it before, I think one of our last team, they kind of taught us this and it was just awesome. But let me share with my screen real quick so you guys will see what I mean. So once you're done with your report thing, I'll send you guys a prompt to use. And let me show you, this is the prompt I'm going to use once you guys are done. And you just click enter. You put the information you have from the report you worked on. But let me show you guys one more thing real quick. Okay, so we go back to here. You guys will notice here, as you're making changes to the maturity level here, if you guys look here, this second tab here is changing automatically here. So when you're done, just copy this, you know, area and paste it to the whatever your data number is, paste it to the prompt I'm going to send to you guys, and it will pull an amazing report for you all. You feel like rock stars that you are really. You'll see how it will look in a bit. You do the same thing with you either use ChatGPT or use Cloudy. I like Cloudy for reporting for what we do now, but you don't have to use it. You can use anyone you feel comfortable with. I just use it because it gives you amazing reports when you do it. So I'll let you decide which of them works the best for you. But let me give you guys an idea of what mine looks like in a bit. Then I'll let you all do your thing. The exercise is going to be 20 minutes. Once you're done, in your group, assign somebody to present. Whoever the presenters are, we'll just let them present, show us their report, and we should be good. All right, let me show you guys what my own report looks like. It's still thinking. Let's see. But let me save this and send it to you guys in your group. Once you get this, do me a favor, just tell me, give me a thumbs up. I'm going to send it to the group right now, to the WhatsApp group. If you're not in that WhatsApp group, you'll probably not get it. And I'm not going to send it to just everybody, but I'll send it to that WhatsApp group. Let me see. Gemini, please, can you paste the link again to the WhatsApp group? Gemini, if you don't mind, please, can you paste the link to the WhatsApp group again? Just paste it to the, Gemini, I'm going to send the document to you so you can post it to that WhatsApp group. And folks, if you get it, please do me a favor, just immediately give me thumbs up there. All right, I think I see the WhatsApp group now. Let me just send it to that WhatsApp group. On the WhatsApp group, give me a thumbs up if you get this material I just sent. I just sent it to that WhatsApp group. Give me a thumbs up there. If you don't mind, just give me a thumbs up on the WhatsApp group. I sent this material there right now. Let me get the WhatsApp thumbs up just to be sure you guys got it. Check the WhatsApp group for the internship. Perfect. I see some thumbs up. Please give me thumbs up so I know most of you. I just see two hands. Just quickly check it to make sure you guys have it. Thank you. Okay, cool. So most of you got it. Unfortunately, we cannot score it. We cannot share it on this. Let me see if I can share it here. It doesn't allow me to share on this computer on this. Okay, cool. So most of you have gotten it. So, okay, I'm going to put you in your group real quick. And once you do that, also on the WhatsApp group, I'll paste the prompt. The prompt is just the query to use. Let me paste the prompt also. Once you see me paste the prompt, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up there also. All right, I pasted the prompt. Once you're done with analysis, use the prompt. Now let me show you what my own prompt looks like real quick. You guys will probably would appreciate this. Oh my God, this is awesome. Okay, let me show you guys mine. You see why I like the Cloud model. You can use any model you want, but my guys in tech, you'd appreciate this. Now look at what this model looks like, ladies and gentlemen. This is crazy, folks. This is crazy stuff. This is unreal. Look at what this guy is giving us. Can you imagine? See, it's giving us a report that gives us the executive summary, gives us what is critical, gives us a heat map to show you how crazy your environment is, gives you the summary of the findings. It's just amazing, really. Now, ChatGPT 2 is not left behind, you know. It generated a document in Word, so you probably need to download it. Whatever works for you, just do it. Okay, hopefully that helps. Now, let me put us in our group real quick. Um, Let me quickly put in your breakout room. We're gonna have how many of us? We're gonna have about 5 breakout rooms, and yeah, we just do five, or let's make it 6 breakout rooms so that we can just be fast. And just please, once you get to a breakout room, take ownership. We're all leaders. Don't wait. Start sharing your screen, and just quickly do the assessment real quick together. And we'll be back in 20 minutes so you guys can present. See you in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Ha ha ha. We try to keep the time here. We have 30 minutes to go, so you can enjoy family time. So if you don't mind, let's have. I know we have six group. All right. If you want to present, just go ahead and raise your hand. Let's start with tell us your group, Dolakpo. Let's go with you, Dolakpo. Your show.
Okay,
Thank you for volunteering.
you're welcome.
Ooh, that looks pretty.
Okay, so this is our CCPA assessment report. So we came up with a maturity score of 2.71. Um, and so this is the executive summary. Um, and then the different areas aspect. So this is a detailed action plan. So
Okay.
realize that the data protection, the risk is critical, and
Yeah.
the priority is short term.
Okay.
And then for
So,
data protection too. Oh, sorry.
so what's our mitigation plan here? What should we do as a priority with the
So
data?
to implement multi-factor authentication and conduct regular access review.
Excellent. Okay. So
Yeah,
it means in the short term we can quickly tidy that one for sure.
yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. Yeah. So data protection is high in terms of the risk, but we are kind of more focused on the critical. So the
Okay.
next one is third-party management, which
Yep.
is also critical, and the execution priority is short-term.
Okay.
And mitigation step is to develop and enforce a third-party um, risk
Assessment program.
assessment program.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I think that is the wholly critical
Those are
that we
the
have.
critical ones. Excellent. And
Yes,
for those
it's
of
just,
us new to our program, you can tell Dolapo did a brilliant job on focusing on those critical ones because it's hard to get out of the old if you don't start with critical. Your leadership will challenge you immediately. So you have to always start with the critical, then you can go to high. So it's yeah, that's good. So the beautiful thing you also did is you also gave your leadership information on the level of effort to execute and implement this solution. You also give them steps that they can take. So honestly, you've given them the playbook. Now they are not going to adopt everything because of some reasons like personnel, process, technology implementation, and the cost in general. But that's on them, right? Let them go figure that part out. But at least you've highlighted it. Very well done, Delapo. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. What group did you represent?
this is room one.
Room one.
This is
Excellent.
one.
Okay. Thank you, sis. I appreciate it. Very well done. All right, let's see who else wants to present. Let's take two more and we will be out of here. Any other volunteer before I call you out? If you're raising your hands, I'm not seeing you. Okay, group two is who is presenting? All right, if you are presenting, just raise your hand so I'll see you. I can't see you. If you are presenting, just raise your hand. This was group one. Anybody representing group two? What about group three? You guys put so much hard work, so I would like to see some of your work. Some of you use Cloud AI. I thought that was cool. Just raise your hand and just show us. You don't have to. Okay. Somebody said, anybody? Somebody said, where's the template from? Which of the template? Is it the one Dolakpo used or which one? We use the prompt to develop those templates. Cloud is a good one also to build that information. So you can use many different options out there. What I recommend typically is it's a smart idea to play with as many templates as possible, because you can always customize to the one that better suits your plan. So I used both in this case, and Use the one that fits your model better. Okay, anybody else presenting? Anyone else? Yeah, Dolapo just replied you. And one thing we do here, well, for some of us that know our program is the value, honestly, is when you milk cost to develop your capacity. Take it serious as a way to leverage yourself. The last thing we care about is wasting time on who is presenting, really. You should rush to present because it's an opportunity to showcase yourself and fine-tune your presentation muscle, really. So don't stay behind when you have an opportunity to present. Just present. Don't waste time, really. You know, it gets better. So if you've not been doing it at work, just present, really. Grassa, you couldn't raise your hand. Let me see. Did I disable that? But you can just, okay, let me find you, Grassa, and just present real quick. Let me take one more person, then we wrap it up for you guys. We have 7 more minutes. Let's see if we can get Grassa. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Michael. I see Michael now. Okay, go ahead, Michael. Okay, Grassa was sharing that screen. Okay, once Michael is done, Grassa can take over. Oh, this is nice. Okay, Michael, let me find you real quick and unmute you. Where are you? One second. Anytime you raise your hand, I can easily see you and unmute you. I'm looking for you right now. Sorry, Michael. I can't find you. Let me find you. Okay, now I see you. Okay, unmute yourself, Michael.
This is the first time of trying this, but at least I have to follow your trend.
Uh, okay,
So
then
we
wait,
want to
perfect.
see how it goes. So um, I'm representing for group four. So I realized
Awesome.
on that group, I don't know, maybe there was any conversation throughout, but I quickly had to do this. So the
Okay,
report,
awesome.
this is the report, the summary of
Yeah,
the project. So, so we have 3.29 as of our raw score.
yeah.
And let me just say this.
And Michael, if you
So
notice, the one on the right is it has summarized it for you. If you
yeah, it's
scroll
the
down
board.
from that
Yeah,
right, here we go.
yeah, it's the
It's
board.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
we have the control maturity score here, where we have our data inventory, the data
Yep.
mapping, and our consent management, which they
Yeah.
have these. This is 30. This is our data mapping 3.1. So we have our
Yeah.
risk distribution too.
Yep.
We gave us the critical part of it is here we have our data security, where we have our key risk area, data security side.
Michael, can you go up a little bit? You will notice there was, okay, pause there. You can see your priority action. So the one it says you should immediately address, we can see data security enhancement, high impact, intermediate. Then we can see breach response automation. That's immediate. So you can tell it has already told us the one to focus on. For some of us that are not aware of it, you know, the way Cloudy breaks it down, it's almost like the way the big four inclusive of the likes of McKinsey, Boston Consulting, Ernst& Young, Deloitte, KPMG, PwC. It's like in their style. I was part of that Big Four world myself, so I know the way we do presentation. That's why I like it really. It will make it so easy for your leadership and management to really relate with. So I love the way this breaks it down. If you can scroll down a little bit, sir, let's see the key risk area. Okay. So we can see it's already telling us the data security, the breach response, the data governance. Now it also gave us some value. Now, most times I'll tell you I stay away from numbers because I don't want somebody to tell me how did you get to that number conclusion. So yes, ChatGPT has given us a guide, but mostly we'll just kind of keep that part muted, right? So that somebody will not challenge you and say, okay, how did you come with that number? And because I'm not responsible for your budget, so I'm not going to even get involved with that. But just give me that heads up that even though it gave us that information, we don't have to necessarily share that information with the customer because they would ask
Okay.
us, how did we get to it? But overall, everything else looks really good. Yeah. Love it.
Thank you
Okay.
so much, sir.
Thank you very much, brother. Awesome job. All right, let's
Yeah.
take one. I think I would say maybe that's probably all we can take so that we can keep to time and allow you guys to take time for. Well, it's been a pleasure to hang out with us as always. We'll keep doing all this all the time just because it's important for our community to keep learning together. And we share polls, and you guys give us the ones you think we should make an internship on. And we try to do that all the time, okay? Of course, we have other programs coming up for some of us that have asked me about the upcoming Cyber GRC program. We have that coming up in August night. So that will be the GRC class in August night. Let me share my screen real quick. And this is the tip of the iceberg. Typically, most of our program, we get into details of a lot of this content in the class also. So we have the GRC program kicks off in August night. Feel free to register academy.skiwi.com. Then we have one class kicking off tomorrow actually for those that want to take the Security Plus certification 701. Now, one thing now, full disclosure, historically, I'm not a fan of certification because I'm focused on execution, what we can do to get a job and feed the family. That's really my own focus. However, over time, I realized broader certification, it's not a bad idea to let somebody get get somebody's attention to see you as a seasoned professional. So from that angle, it's a win. And this is one of the easy ones to do in terms of certification. We started this, I think, last November. And the first one we did so far about 30 people, 100% pass rate. If you ask me, I always say 97%, just with the assumption that in case somebody flunked it and did not want to tell me. But so far, nobody has failed it. Of course, we do a lot of practice, a lot of practice, a lot of practice. So that's a good one. I'll post the link also to the group. You guys can have access to the link. And yeah, then let me see what else. Okay, then, yeah, those are the key things coming in our community. Just keep checking what we have. We'll try and add value to you as much as possible. We also have a sister company. You guys feel free to check it out as it's important for us because we think legacy also. So for some of our folks, when the time is ripe, one of the big things we also do in our community is within our sister group, we have a land investment business that we have a large investment around North Texas. So if you're in Texas, you guys might have heard of it. It's a big AI data center hub, crazy right now in Texas land. Google it yourself. Or you can Google Sherman, Texas, SHERMAN, Texas, with the CHIP Act. We're talking about $37 billion investment. So it's crazy. Land investment in this part of the country is just insane right now. And it's geometric expansion and even returns at the moment just because of the data point. They are building lakes. We have an airport coming to McKinney. Google all these things I'm saying. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. Check Frisco, McKinney, Texas, Frisco, Texas, Sherman, Texas. You'll be blown away at what's going on in this part of the world. But it's a good opportunity for us. So we buy a lot of land, a lot of investment around land. Then we subdivide it so that our community gets a very good deal and coming. If it's catch your attention and it's the right moment, ping us also. We'll be happy to tell you more about it. But otherwise, thank you for being part of the community tonight. And if you have more questions, feel free to buzz us. Enjoy the rest of your evening and grab a margarita and go sleep. Take care, everybody. Thank you.
Skill with Academy, where leaders are born. Embrace the tempo, let your dreams take storm. Rise up, leaders, let the beat guide your